Welcome to the Millennium Marriage Podcast,
where we discuss practical tools and insights into the joys and challenges of marriage. Welcome back, everybody. We're coming back this week with an important topic, and I'm Jose.
I'm Latoya.
And the topic this week is going to be boundaries.
Big one.
That is a huge one.
Yes. It's a difficult one sometimes, but...
Yeah, difficult conversations have to be had.
But you got to do it.
Yeah, for your own peace.
For your own sanity.
Yes.
Have to be able to create boundaries, right?
You have to. You have to.
It
sounds bad, but it really isn't. It is really, really a good thing.
It is. It's actually a beautiful thing. So ultimately, healthy boundaries, they do a couple of things, okay? So first, they help us to take responsibility for our own choices.
Ooh.
Right? So I need to know what my limits, boundaries are, right? In decision making, we need to know. And we hold ourselves accountable based on those guidelines. I said they were more guidelines, right? But boundaries also protect us by limiting harmful behavior.
Absolutely.
Right? And I don't know, some people say you put up walls, that it could be used in a negative connotation, right? If you look at it that way. But in a more positive light, when we say it limits harmful behavior, you teach people how to treat you by establishing boundaries, right? And then in order to respect people's boundaries, we have to show self-control. Mm-hmm. So that's how we take responsibility for our own choices, by respecting other people's boundaries and understanding our own. And then in reality, altogether, setting and respecting boundaries is essential for a healthy relationship. Yeah. You cannot have a healthy relationship without establishing some type of boundaries. Some of them are unspoken, where it's just common sense, be respectful, mind your business.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
That kind of stuff. But there are some that, unfortunately, you have to really sit down and have conversations with each other and with other people in your lives to establish clear boundaries. Mm-hmm. Clear.
And one of our pastors, he puts it in a very good way. And a good way to think about when you're having those conversations is have them with love. With love, yeah. You have to have them with love in your heart and accepting both sides of whatever comes out of the conversation, because it could go sideways sometimes, but you have to manage it with love. With love,
yeah. And that can be tough when you're presenting a boundary and someone doesn't receive it well, or they receive it as being attacked, or respond with animosity. It's difficult to respond back in love, but that's what we're called to do. Oh, yeah. That's why we pray, as MC Hammer said. And, well, what's that, MC Hammer?
I can't believe you just.
That's why we pray.
MC
pray.
Hammer. You showed your age again. This is like the second episode in a row that this has happened. I'm sorry, folks. I apologize.
Okay.
We're gonna just skip over that comment, and we're gonna say, it starts very early on in your relationship and in your marriage. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, for this reason a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And that's so big to understand, that you are becoming one. Yeah. You are a unit. It is no longer separate. It's not you and your wife. It is you together as a family. And at that point, you have to break away from that, not break away from the mother-father relationship, but you are now starting your own family. You are becoming a mother and father. Mm-hmm. Once you have children, and once you go down, once that family starts to expand, you are the mother and father now.
Establishing your own family structure.
Exactly. So that's a really huge thing for you to do.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Not at all. That transition, I mean, because when you think about it, it's like you're leaving your family routine, customs, dynamic, the style of just how your family functions to establish a new one. And when your whole life you've been used to a certain routine or certain customs, it's difficult, for you, to step outside of that and try to figure out, okay, where do I start? And that's not to say that you leave everything behind.
No.
I mean, your family has made you who you are, right? So they're always going to be with you. Parts of your family dynamic and the routine that you had as a kid and growing up, that's always going to be with you. But when you come together with your spouse, it's how do you bring some of that and some of theirs and work it where it works for both of you. You have to compromise. Some things that worked for your immediate family growing up are not going to work for your new family unit. And you have to be willing to sit down and have a conversation about what works, what doesn't, things that created good habits and things that may have created bad habits, and really being honest about that and figuring out, okay, how do we come to common ground to establish our own now?
Yeah.
So it's you can definitely honor your family, your immediate family, those who raised you, those who you grew up around. You can honor them by continuing to, I guess, implement the things that worked well, the things that are godly, the things that, some of the things that made you who you are. But you also have to be willing to look at those areas that may not have been the best when it comes to establishing relationships, when it comes to establishing parenting lifestyle, so many things.
Yeah.
But you just really have to be honest and sit down and discuss those things. Really, they should be discussed before you get married.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't know what you're getting into, right? Sometimes marriages happen very quickly. Relationships kind of develop.
They evolve quickly.
Yeah. And people don't think about those things. It's like, oh, yes, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. And that's great. But do you really understand who you're spending the rest of your life with?
Yeah. And the baggage that they're coming with.
Yes, because we all come with baggage, good and bad.
Absolutely. Every one of us.
Yeah. So we have to really have an understanding of who our partner is and where they have come from to understand how we're going to establish our new foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the family, we're not saying that you have to cut ties with your family. Not at all. Your family is going to play such an important role in your marriage, your growth together, just everything. They're going to play such a huge role, but you have to cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
You have to cut that and allow yourself to grow in your family now. The husband and wife relationship has to grow. And in order for it to grow the way God intends it to grow, you have to cut that. And that's a tough one. I know it was tough in our relationship early on. Just the holidays. The holidays are always a tough one. You want to go visit every single house that you've ever visited when you were young, and everybody has their own house, and you're going to this person's house and that person's house.
House hopping is tiring. I mean, I love y'all. I love every single one of y'all, but it's exhausting.
It is.
And you want to go and enjoy everybody's company, but whew.
It takes away from the actual holiday.
It does. It takes away from
the celebration of what it's supposed to be. It takes away from it. And early on, that was tough because, my family's very together. Everything's together, and we're together for Thanksgiving. We're together for Christmas. We're together after Christmas. It was a lot, but that's all I knew, and then when we got together, it was like we needed to build our own customs, our own ways that we celebrate. And it was an adjustment period.
Yeah.
It was a really big adjustment period, but I think we're better for it in our
Absolutely.
relationship
Yep.
and with the family relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you get like, you know, on my end, I have a small family. It's me, my parents, and my one sister. So, we didn't have it as large as an immediate family unit as you did, but our extended family we were really close to. Like those are not were they are like our brothers and sisters, not like our cousins. Our aunts and uncles were our second set of parents, so we were together all the time. So I was in Maryland, I was in New Jersey, I was in Pennsylvania, I was in Delaware, I was everywhere every other weekend. And then holidays, same thing. It's like, okay, we go to mom's side of the family is gathering here, dad's side of the family is gathering over here. So we go over here for an hour and a half, we go over to this one for an hour and a half, then we go home, then we go to a friend's house for an hour. So I was used to the go, whereas you were used to all your family is right here.
It's right here.
Like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, bro, like, I got to go see my grandma. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And I do have a bigger family, but like you said, everybody was right here.
Right there. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And once our relationship evolved more and we wanted to be with each other, because of course the first couple of years it was like, okay, I'll see you later. We'll go be our family and maybe spend some time together later. But then it was like, no, I want to spend Thanksgiving with you and I want to spend it with you. So then it's like, well, whose family do we go to? Because you don't want to house hop. And like, that's what I'm used to. But then it's like, now there's an extra house to hop to.
Exactly.
So we did that for a few years. And then as the years went on, it was like, whoo, we tired. Oh, and then the kids came.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Well, I think when the kids came, it was
that's when we were like, nope.
Yeah, we can't do this. we can't.
No.
Like, there's no way that we can sustain it.
No.
So it was like, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do this now,
And I think we knew, like, in our minds, because, okay, let me give a shout out right now to Pastor Herb Owens. He is the pastor who married us, a great, great, great family friend, just instilled some great values and keys into our marriage from the very beginning. So Mr. Herb, shout out to you. We love you. But one of the most important things he said to us was, in our premarital counseling, was establish your own, what word did he use? It wasn't your own traditions. Establish your own traditions. And we were like, okay. Yeah. We did not get it.
No.
Until like these types of situations. Yeah. And so it took us a few years to figure that out. Once we had the kids, it was like, okay, yeah, we understand now. Yeah. What are we going to do? So in our situation, what we decided was, okay, we'll kind of rotate at least the major holidays, right? So my family is out of state. My immediate family is out of state. And even my extended family that we would normally visit for holidays, they're all in different states. Everybody's spread out now. So it's already difficult to get everybody together. And then your family, for the most part, was still here. You had a couple people from your immediate family who moved away. Yeah. But we decided, okay, the big holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, are big for both of our families. And you guys already had locked in, like, set, like, traditions. Yeah. Like, this is what we do. Yeah. We don't stray from this. This is it. We're at mom's house. This is, some of the activities we do. Whereas my family kind of every year will rotate, like, yeah, let's go to dad's side of the family this year, or let's go to mom's side of the family. So what we decided was Thanksgiving. Yeah. Normally, we go to Georgia. We travel and go spend time with my family, since we really don't get to see them throughout the year. They visit periodically, but holidays we're normally not together. Yeah. So Thanksgiving, we go to see my family, because the reason we made that decision is Christmas is a really big deal for your family.
So Christmas was my father's favorite holiday. God rest his soul. When he was here, it was just a big deal for him. He loved the family being around. So we've decided we would spend Christmas with the original traditions that we had already built in my family, which was we go to my mom and dad's for the morning. It's a small family room with 30 people in it.
It might be up to 40.
It gets chaotic, but it's awesome, and it's it's just something I just enjoy doing.
Yeah, you really cherish that.
Yeah, I cherish
time.
that the atmosphere.
Yeah.
As chaotic as it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we would do was we would go have dinner at one of my sister's houses. And then we decided that, all right, we did Christmas morning at my mom's, Thanksgiving at your family's. We're going to do our own thing for our Christmas dinner. So then it turned into, that's our tradition right there. So our tradition is Christmas after the Christmas crazy morning. We come home and we just
let the
relax.
boys just enjoy their gifts and play, do whatever they want to do for the rest of the day. I cook a seafood dinner normally.
Oh yeah,
non-traditional dinner. We do, I have a problem with seafood, guys. Don't worry. Just pray for me, okay? So that's kind of my gift to myself on Christmas. But yeah, so I think that was a good compromise, a good balance for us. It's like, okay, each holiday we're still getting to spend the time with our family that we really enjoy, but at the same time we are establishing our own tradition at the same time. So, that's one way to establish those boundaries. That's a simple example of how you can adjust and still blend your two lives together, but create your own custom.
Getting yourself into an environment where your family can flourish together.
Yeah. And with that, so on our end, that was some of the difficulty. But when you're establishing boundaries, when it comes to family, for example, a lot of times it's more difficult for them, right? It's difficult for us sometimes to communicate it because we're like, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But again, we do it with love because it's out of love. It's not out of, any type of, spite or anything like that. It's out of love because we have to do what we have to do to establish that new unit. And hopefully the family you're communicating that with receives it in love, but it doesn't always happen that way. Because what I had to do was put myself in other people's shoes as well. Like when this is what you're used to, it's like, hold on, no, that's what we do, and we just in general, people, change is hard, and that's a major change to go from someone being in your life or you raising someone or them being your sibling and you do everything together to now they're married and there has to be some separation. That's a difficult thing, so you really have to handle it with care. Again, present it with love, but also I think we also need to teach ourselves not to guilt trip ourselves. It's okay. They're going to be okay. And we're going to be okay, It's
okay to be selfish sometimes when it has to do with your marriage.
And I think it's more, I don't even think it's about being selfish. It's just priorities. Like God has an order to things, right?
That's true.
So that order is being established. Like when you come into that covenant under God as one, there's an order to things. It's God, it's your spouse, it's your kids, and then it's everybody else. You know what I mean? So in reality, like you're doing the godly thing by establishing those boundaries and making sure that everybody outside of your new unit understands those boundaries clearly. You have to communicate them clearly. Like you can't, let people get away with some things here and then address them over here, but then let them get away with it again tomorrow. No. Like if this is a boundary that you have established for your family, you have to make it clear in a loving way. We're always going to preface it with that. We're always going to preface it with that because really, if it's not communicated with love, that's when it causes issues. Sometimes even when it is communicated with love, it's not received well, but people will come around.
We're going to discuss now boundaries with our children.
Listen up, parents.
Yes.
This is a red alert, okay? This is very, very, very important.
Yeah, we need to, you have to establish your own boundaries and also allow them to establish their own boundaries. So it's just healthy for them, for their minds, for their relationships, especially if you have multiple children, allowing them to have boundaries between each other, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of times, like in our dynamic, we have our oldest son who is 11 and our youngest son is 8. Our youngest son doesn't like to admit it, but he really looks up to his older brother, and he wants to be around him all day long,
time.
all day long. And our oldest is kind of like, he's getting into that mindset of he wants to have his own space sometimes. He wants to be alone. He just kind of wants that time. Yeah, he has to decompress. So there's times where, you know, we can see it. I know I can really see it, where I can tell by his demeanor, like, okay, he needs some time. And then I have to go to his brother and say, listen, just let him be. Go ahead, you know, go find something else to do right now. Let him have his time on his own. So, you know, and vice versa, because there's sometimes where the younger one's kind of over it. And I mean, it's not often, it's very rare, but there is times where he's just like, I just want to be on my own. I want to, you know, do my own thing. And
we really had to pay attention.
Yes.
Because I don't think we initially caught that. And unfortunately, it took for our oldest to kind of have some moments where we were like, what is happening? Like, you just had a whole meltdown. Like,
full transparency. I mean, it was a lot, and he had to go see a counselor just to kind of an outside view to get him through some things and give him the necessary tools to deal with those situations. And it's, you know, thank God that he was able to get the necessary help, and that we saw it enough to say, okay, that's not good, that's not right.
It's a trigger. Certain learning what his triggers were. Because I mean, it wasn't them being together that was the issue, but when he needed his space and not being able to get it was a trigger for his anxiety. Right?
He didn't know how to verbalize the fact that he needed his space, because he's looking at it like, I'm gonna hurt my brother's feelings if I say this, and his brother would get upset, but it was more of, he had to learn how to say it. He didn't know how to. So when he would say it, it would be rude. And he's like, he done exploded on him, and the kid is crying. And it's like, now we're yelling at him, like, why are you talking to him like that? But it's just more of, he didn't know how to express that anxiety that was in him.
Yeah. And let's be clear, our children are watching. They pick up on things, and we may not think they do, but as we establish boundaries in our relationship and surrounding our marriage and the family and all of that, then we're teaching our children that it's okay for them to establish their own. As they grow, as they mature, they're able to let people know that they want them to respect their boundaries, and it teaches them to respect other people's boundaries. You know, it helps them to know that, okay, there's certain things that I have to be okay with, even though it's not my choice to do this. If that's a boundary that's in place for somebody else, then I have to suck it up and learn, you know, how to deal with it properly. So it's really healthy for you to establish boundaries so that they grow up in an environment where they know it's okay, especially in today's society. Like, you know, people will try to get away with things and take advantage of children today. It's crazy, you know, so they need to be able to recognize when a boundary needs to be set, if there isn't one already, or they need to be able to recognize that, you know, if I'm going into a new environment and I don't like the way something's going, or I don't like the way I'm being treated, it's okay for me to speak up and say something. I can still do it in a respectful way, but it's okay.
And that leads into the one of the toughest ones is how do we establish those boundaries and trust while you're maintaining the family hierarchy, the mother and father roles, and not becoming, oh, that's my best friend, that's my bestie, you know, kind of feeling. And by doing that, still having them understand that it's a safe space and you can talk to us. You know, and we're guilty of it ourselves, but a lot of times, because of the way we were brought up, it's like, don't question me. What did I say? I said it, and that's the end of it. And the kids have no say in it. And not that they need a say in it, but sometimes they just want to be heard sometimes. It doesn't even, the final solution is still, what did I say? And what I said is final. But the fact that they were able to be heard and they
They
feel
have a
as though they
voice.
have a voice.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a big deal, and it was something that we had to work on ourselves.
Oh,
like
yeah.
where, you know, we would explode in that manner, like,
Mm-hmm.
no, what did we say? That's it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's done.
Right.
Don't say nothing.
Right.
And then we're looking at it when they're trying to say something as if, oh, you're talking back.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, they're just trying to get their opinion out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to silence that, because what happens is it could silence them for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
And for the rest of their lives, they're getting dumped on,
Mm-hmm.
and they never want to express their opinion or talk about the things that they,
Yeah.
you know, how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing for us where we had to sit down and say, all right, listen, what we're doing right now is we don't want to stunt their growth.
Right.
And we want to allow them to discuss with us. And we
Yeah.
had to sit down with them and have that conversation. Like, listen, okay, I want you guys to understand, if you're ever feeling some kind of way from what we said in place, whatever it is, I want you to feel safe to come and have the conversation with us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the way you have to do it is you need to come to us and say, listen, can we talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
Don't just catch an attitude and start spazzing out.
Right. Because
But-
then it's a problem.
Yeah, then that's a problem. We're
Understand.
not doing that. Those are the boundaries that we're not going to cross.
Right. Right.
But when you come in that manner, it softens us
Mm-hmm.
to be able to receive, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Tell
Right.
me how you're feeling about it.
Right. And that's not to say that, oh, just because they voice their opinion and it goes against what we said, that is not to say that our answer changes,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives us an opportunity to create, establish understanding so that they understand, no, this is why I'm telling you no. It's a safety issue, you know, or I'm protecting you from this,
Right.
or no, because you didn't do what you had to do.
Right.
And these are the consequences of your actions. So for me, that was big. Like, you know, I was that one who was like, I was shut down. Like, I could not communicate to anyone. Anytime something was wrong throughout my life, I just let it go. I shut down. I let people run all over me, because as a kid, you know, and I think that's just the culture of the time when it came to parenting. It was like, nope, shut your mouth. That's it. You know what I mean? And, you know, our parents do what they know, because, you know, that may have been something that they dealt with too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, you know, my parents are awesome. Okay. Let me say that.
Right.
But we're all learning and growing. And that was an area where I didn't necessarily feel safe to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just like, nope, because I'm gonna get in trouble, because I was so afraid of disappointing someone. So I would just be like, okay, you know, I never talk back. And not that I should talk back, but even outside of home, I would never go against what anyone said. I was a people pleaser. So I had to learn the hard way as an adult how to communicate with people, and still working on that, how to make my point and stand up for myself and be okay with that, and not worry about, oh, I'm hurting their feelings, so I'll just suffer. You know, so that's what we want to avoid. So there has to be a balance,
Yeah.
you know. That's, again, not to say, oh, you can say whatever you want to me, because I'm still your mother, I'm still your father, and you will honor us as the head of this household. But there's a way to go about it.
And that's so key, because this is a perfect example of what we're saying on how it can affect their growth as adults, right? Because that's what you dealt with, right? Well, now I was the youngest, I was the only boy, I was spoiled. So now I have this sense of entitlement, right? And with a sense of entitlement, what comes is the verbalization, where I'm not afraid to speak up, because there was no consequences. I could say what I wanted, and it was whatever, you know. And again, like you said, my mother and father, amazing, greatest parents, right? But that all played a part in how I am now, where I can be more vocal. I can tell you my opinion, and sometimes I don't care the repercussions of it or how it makes people feel, and that's not the way it should be, right? And it should be, I have more compassion, I have more grace, and I care for the person that I'm speaking to. I care for their emotions, and I again, I'm gonna quote one of our pastors, Pastor Dave Shanahan, and he said, you don't want to leave dead bodies behind you. And that was so, I mean, he was speaking to me there, and it wasn't even him speaking to me, but he was speaking to me. And it was like, oh man, that's so deep, you know, because you don't want to have a trail of dead bodies behind you, of bridges that you've burned, and people that you just rubbed the wrong way or you did something to. and it was none of my intention, but
Right.
that just shows how the way you were brought up dictates so much of how you grow as an adult.
Yeah.
So having, again, those boundaries are so key as children.
Yeah.
Like the basic boundaries, right? We got your bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to get a bedtime. Can't stay up all night, even though one of ours thinks he's a night owl and can stay up all night.
When he was 4, y'all, hold on, I just got through this in there. So our oldest, when he was 4, he's always had a hard time going to sleep, and he would come out of the room with a different excuse every night. So the one night he came out and he said, I can't sleep. And we're like, you need to go to sleep. Why can't you sleep? Because I'm nocturnal.
He was 4.
Like, he was 4.
I was proud of the use of the word because it was right, but it was just one of those things where we just lost it. We laughed and we're like,
we're still dealing with that today, and he's 11.
Yes.
He's 11, y'all, and he still comes
still
out of the
does
room
it.
with a different excuse.
Yeah.
The excuses are a little funnier now.
Yeah.
Though.
Yes. Absolutely.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
But you got your bedtime, right? You have the social life, the social media, the getting on YouTube, the different things like that you have to set boundaries on, because now it's so easy to find things that they're not ready to see or hear or any of that. And it's so easy now for these kids to just dive into these rabbit holes that they do not need to be in right now. And it's so scary. It's really scary right now with just where the world is and how easy and how the ease of access is now.
Yes,
it's just
so
crazy.
You have to limit that and create those boundaries.
Right. You have your homework, right? You got to make sure you're taking care and you have them set up to where they're doing their homework when they come home. I think it's benefited us because you've taken a really big leadership role in that aspect, because sometimes I'm not here when they're getting home from school or whatever the case may be, and a lot of times I'm not even thinking about it, right? But you're like, hey, come on, get your homework. What you doing? Like, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Phil.
And then chores, right? And that's something that we're still battling with.
Consistency is difficult for us.
It's very difficult
with our crazy schedules, and just it's a challenge. It's a challenge for us.
Is.
But with the chores, it's the boundary you're teaching them there is responsibility. That if you don't take care of your responsibilities, then you won't have access to certain things. And when you do, then you can have access to more, more opportunities. But again, that's a boundary where it's like, nope, these are the rules, and these are the rules you're going to live by in this house, because as they grow, then they will learn responsibility and how to take care of business outside of the house. And when you don't establish those boundaries when they're younger, it's so much more difficult to implement them as they get older. Yeah. Like even with us, I feel like we should have started earlier. Like these kids got it good, and that's most of our kids nowadays, because we want to give them everything we didn't have. And, but the reality is they need structure. Yeah. So structure is a boundary, just like in school. Their structured time, and guess what? When they're in school, they know not to get out of their seat at this time. They know you only go to lunch at this time, because it's established and they're consistent and they don't have any other choice. So you have to, and again, it's all about balance. You're not running a boot camp at home, but we have to start doing that when they're younger. Now, this is we're gonna finish off with this one, because this is so important when it comes to our children, guys. Nowadays, right, we have all of us woke parents, and all of us parents who want to live off of the land and natural processes, and I don't want to use like assistance when it comes to certain things. I can do it all naturally, and which is a beautiful thing, a beautiful, beautiful thing. However, at some point, and I mean this figuratively and literally, prepare yourselves, okay? The child has to come off of the boob.
Woo!
The end.
Yes.
Your kids cannot be sleeping with you at 6, 7, 8, whatever years old. I know somebody's mad at me right now. I don't care, because I'm going to say it.
Listen.
Because your marriage will suffer. The intimacy in your relationship will suffer, okay? Intimacy is very important when it comes to our marriage. And listen, I can't believe I'm the one saying this, because really that's my love language doesn't have a lot to do with that, but it's more yours. But still,
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm working on that, okay? I understand how important that is. And I know we love our children. Like, it's a love like you've never known when you have a child.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to understand that our marriage must stay a priority.
Yep.
Okay? So when you have children, it's so easy to get so consumed in them that you forget about the needs of your spouse. And one way to establish at least keeping your bedroom as a sacred space is to make sure that there is a boundary when it comes to your children sleeping in your bedroom, or even coming in your bedroom, really. And that takes even longer, really. It's like, knock, don't just walk in my room.
Yeah.
You might get surprised.
I mean,
with
our
some
kids
things.
now they knock before they come in.
They knocking and open the door.
Yeah, they knocking and open. But even still, like, they come to us and they're like, "Can I watch TV in your room?" Because they know, no, that's our room. You have your own room, and that's that's just how that's the boundaries that we set.
Yeah, yeah, and let me be clear. I'm not saying your kids can't be in your room. I'm not saying you can't have a sleepover in your room with your kids every once in a while. Or I'm not, all I'm saying is figure out what works for you. But you have to establish some boundaries when it comes to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm not talking about when they're infants. I'm not talking about when they're 1-2 years old and you're trying to get them in their crib. And because I know it's difficult. I know the crying throughout the night. All you want to do is sleep. You just want to get a good night's sleep, so you let them sleep in your room. But you have to figure out a system, even if you need to talk to somebody and ask for tips or whatever on how they did it. Different things work for different kids, but make it a priority. Make it a priority, because your marriage is a priority. The intimacy between you and your spouse is a priority. And I don't mean just sexual intimacy. I mean emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy. Your bedroom should be this sacred place where you can share things. You can be free with your spouse to communicate, and just let it be a space of peace. Let it be a space of just relaxation. Yep. And that's difficult to do when your kids are kicking you in the head in the middle of the night. Okay. Yep. So I know, I'm sorry. I hope y'all still love me and you come back for the next episode. But listen, we are being real with y'all. Okay. Yes. We are. And again, we know it's hard, but do your best. Just little steps at a time, figure out, I don't know, with the little ones, like get them a bed that they like, that they can, take pride in and all that kind of stuff, or play a game with them. I bet you can't stay in your bed tonight. I bet you can't watch TV in your room, and then they fall asleep in their room.
One of ours with our oldest was, we got him one of those tent beds that, it was connected to the mattress, but it was a tent on top, and he just loved it. He loved sleeping in it. He was
camping in his own bed.
Yeah, so stuff like that really, really helps.
And let me say, it's normally the mom, I think, who has, at least in most situations that I've heard, that
about 95%.
You did not have to. You did not have to co-sign on that so fast. But, because, we're mothers. Like, we just want our children with us. We want to make sure they're okay at all times.
You're nurturers. So
yeah, we are
nurturers.
Them. Yeah.
But you also need to nurture your intimacy in your bedroom. So
yeah. Whew. We're about to get deep, y'all, but we're going to save that for another episode that we have coming. We're going to go deeper into that. But, that's the first step, okay? Creating a sacred space in your bedroom and establishing that boundary, okay? So, I think we might have to come back for a part 2.
I think so.
Because we didn't even touch on some other things that are really important. Yeah, y'all, we'll be back with a part 2 because we got some other things to dig into. Yep. So let's do a quick recap. We talked about just establishing boundaries with your immediate family as you are cleaving to your wife, and establishing your own family structure, your own family unit, creating your own traditions, establishing what you all want to do, something new, and still finding a way to incorporate your immediate family. Just understanding that two becoming one can be a difficult transition. And then we talked about boundaries with our children, help them to establish boundaries so that they know that they have a safe space, and allow them to communicate with you so that they feel safe in you. And then we have to establish those boundaries with them to help them grow to be citizens of the world, really.
Basic boundaries for them will be bedtime, your social media, everything else, homework, and chores. And then we got some next level ones, which we touched on, the respectful communication, which, allowing them that safe space to communicate, but again, in a respectful manner. And then the bedroom.
Boom. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, until next time, stay encouraged and keep investing in each other for a marriage that will last a lifetime. Bye.
Peace out.
If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe and share. Keep up with us on social media at Millennium Marriage and visit our website at millenniummarriage.com.